fixer in a nice neighborhood in San Francisco just sold for $3.5 million. And in Berkeley, another home sold for $1.3 million over the asking price. If you live in the Bay Area, I don't have to tell you what this market feels like right now. You're experiencing it for yourself. But what I can offer you is an alternative. And that's if you own a home in the Bay Area right now, you are sitting on a life-changing opportunity to cash out on your current home in the most incredible seller's market on record. I'm Stephanie Johnson. I'm your Real Wise agent here in Sonoma County, and I'm about to show you what your San Francisco or Bay Area equity will buy here in beautiful wine country. We're gonna get into all the numbers right now. So let's start with the first scenario, which is a sale of a condo or a townhome somewhere in the Bay Area for about $1.8 million. Obviously, you're gonna have some closing costs, and the costs of disposition are usually around 6% once you pay taxes and commissions and other expenses to sell your home. Let's assume you've owned this condo or townhome for a while, but you still owe about $900,000 on the mortgage. After the mortgage and the expenses are paid, you'll have just shy of $800,000 in equity to spend on your new home. Now, I have to make a note here about capital gains. Often you'll have capital gains taxes that will take another piece of your equity. But for this scenario, we're going to assume that you've owned it for a while, but not enough to go above the exclusion you get if this is your primary home. Obviously, everyone's situation is different, and so you should talk to your CPA before you list your home to make sure that you know exactly how much equity you'll get at any given sale price. But let's assume you have about $800,000 to spend on your new purchase. That could help you do a few things in Sonoma County. The first option is to buy a home anywhere in Sonoma County between about $1.2 million and $1.5 million. You put a hefty down payment down of $800,000. You take on a reasonable mortgage of anywhere between $400,000 and say $700,000 to make your purchase. And what will you get? Well, in Sebastopol, for instance, you could purchase a home that is at the 1.2 range, a starter home with some land that needs a little cosmetic attention. If you spend 1.5, you're going to get a home that's in really good condition, might be right in town, walkable to the downtown area. If you look outside Sebastopol in Petaluma, you can also buy a nice size single family home that's pretty well renovated in Petaluma, even on the west side. You could buy a home in town in Healdsburg at the high end of that range that's done and walkable to the plaza. Or you could buy a property on the outskirts of Healdsburg that has some acreage and maybe a view. In this price range, anywhere in Sonoma County, you're going to get somewhere in the range of a 3 to a 4 bedroom home, somewhere hovering around the 2,000 square foot mark, maybe up to 2,500 square feet, depending on exactly where you look, and on a decent sized piece of land. So you'll have a garden, a garage, a really nice lifestyle. Option 2, with this kind of money, you could just pay cash for a home in lots of parts of Santa Rosa, in Commute, in Rohnert Park, and beyond. There are lots of affordable areas in Sonoma County. In fact, the median price in Sonoma County hovers right around $800,000. So half of all homes sold in this county sell under $800,000. Your chance of buying something in cash and having zero mortgage payment is actually pretty high. Option 3 is you could take your equity and put it towards an investment property where you could use part of it as a vacation home or a full-time home and have income. So for instance, you could buy a duplex or a triplex, live in one and rent the others. There are lots of scenarios where this makes sense and the rents will actually pay you to live on the property. And buying in Sonoma County is so much more peaceful than buying in the Bay Area right now. Lots of homes sell for under asking. In fact, the vast majority of them do. Some homes do still sell with competition, but it's not 90% of homes like San Francisco right now. So when you finally decide what you want, you're going to have a much easier time getting into contract on that home. Okay, scenario 2 assumes you have a little bit more money coming out of your property, and that's if we assume that you're selling a home that's worth about $3 million. Now, this is a single family home somewhere in the 22 to 2,500 square foot range in a lot of neighborhoods in San Francisco right now are topping $3 million. So it's not an unreasonable assumption to make that if you own a decent sized single family home in San Francisco, parts of the East Bay Peninsula, or in Marin, that this could happen for you. And so the assumption we'll make is a $3 million sale, closing costs right around 6%. Let's assume you've owned this home for a while. Maybe you paid $2 million a while back and now it's worth $3 million. You owe about $1.3 million on your mortgage. And since this is a highly appreciated property we're talking about, let's assume you do have a capital gains bill of $200,000. And so once all of the expenses and taxes are paid, you have just over $1.3 million in cash to spend on a purchase in Sonoma County. And so let's look at your options for for this purchase. The first option is you just buy a house that costs $1.3 million and pay cash. Wouldn't it be nice to own your home outright? Well, it's possible. In Sebastopol, you can buy a nice size home that's in pretty good condition on a little bit of land, maybe with an outbuilding for $1.3 million. You might have to do a little cosmetic cleanup to that property, but it's going to be pretty nice for a small investment. Certainly, you can reach and buy a beautiful home on the east side of Petaluma easily, and you can get a starter home on the west side. Your monthly payment is just taxes and insurance and basic expenses. I mean, it's pretty manageable compared to San Francisco or the East Bay. Option 2, you put $1.3 million down on a home that costs more like $1.8 million. This is going to get you into a really nice renovated home on some land with an outbuilding and a lot of space in Sebastopol, in many parts of Santa Rosa, certainly in Petaluma, and it even gets you into the entry-level part of the winery estates market in Healdsburg. Think vineyard views, a guest cottage, maybe even a pool. For this price, there's not much in the Bay Area that would give you a similar quality of life. Your payments are manageable and your lifestyle impeccable. Option 3 is you stretch into the real wine country estates market between $2 and $2.5 million. Now you have a lot of options open to you. You can buy a beautiful piece of property with all the bells and whistles, renovated, guest cottage, pool, barn, land in Sebastopol, in Petaluma, in many parts of Healdsburg, in the Dry Creek Valley, and in the Sonoma Valley and parts of the town of Sonoma. This also puts you in the entry level for a historic home right downtown in Healdsburg. These are the kind of properties you might see in Ross or in Tiburon that sell for $6+ million. Plus, the luxury market in Sonoma County is sort of slow for the most part, and you're able to negotiate a pretty good deal on a lot of properties because many of them sit without a big pool of buyers ready to buy them. And so you're likely to get a huge discount on something that you buy here when you got a full premium on what you sold in the Bay Area. The spread between the two markets has never been wider. For buyers with some patience, Sonoma County offers one of the most incredible real estate markets in the luxury category in years. So maybe your scenario is just a little different and you have a different amount of equity coming out of your property in the Bay Area. Well, let me tell you what your money can buy in various parts of the county. Under $1 million, you can do very well in Santa Rosa, Rohnert Park, Commute, real homes in good condition. This is the entry level of the single family home market, and you can do very well in those areas. $1 million to $1.5 million is really easy in Sebastopol, Petaluma, Santa Rosa. For instance, the median price in Petaluma is right around $1.1 million, and homes are sitting in this price range on average about 22 days. It's a very active market, but that means if you've got cash or a really big down payment, you have an advantage. From $1.5 to $2 million, you have a lot more options in Sebastopol and in Petaluma, and the better, more desirable parts of Santa Rosa. In this level, multiple offer rates are not that common, and often there is real negotiation room in this price range. From $2 million to $3 million, now you have entree into the best parts of Healdsburg, the Dry Creek Valley, the Sonoma Valley, and Glen Ellen. In this segment of the market, it's pretty favorable for buyers right now. A cash buyer or someone with a big down payment has a lot of negotiation power in the luxury end of the market here in this county. Obviously, price is not the only thing that's going to drive your location. Your commute tolerance, your school district, your proximity to amenities, how rural or urban you want your life to be here, whether you want easy access to the wine country lifestyle or not. All of this plus price will tell us which towns will be a fit for you. This is the exact conversation that I have every day with clients who are looking to buy here. So if you want to know what your Bay Area equity will buy here in Sonoma County, drop a note in the comments. Tell me what neighborhood you live in, the size of your home, how much you owe on the mortgage, and I will give you a solid estimate on how much equity you have in your home and what it will buy here in Sonoma County. I'll run the rough numbers for you personally. And if you're ready to go further and actually make the move to Sonoma County, you're ready to look at properties and figure out where it is that you'd like to land, I would love to be your guide. I'm Stephanie Johnson, and the link to book a calendar appointment with me is below. You also can either call me or text me, and we'll start a conversation about your search here in Sonoma County. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you're notified every time we drop a video, because we will be offering content every week about life and real estate here in Sonoma County. Until the next one, bye for now.